ResortLoop.com is proud to be sponsored by Joffrey's Coffee and Tea, the official specialty coffee of Disney Parks. You can find Joffrey's Coffee and specialty drinks in the parks, at Disney Springs, or online at Joffreys.com.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
To our new passengers, aloha and welcome aboard.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. I'm Tim Scott. This is ResortLoop.com, the gateway to the magic. It is everyone's favorite show every month, mostly, the DVC Roundtable.
That's right.
We only pay him a little bit of money to say that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's your favorite time of the month.
That's right.
Oh.
Okay.
Moving on.
The last voice you just heard, Mr. Joe Quattrochi. Hey, Joe.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you doing?
Excellent. You also heard Rebecca Toon laughing in the background.
Hey, Patty. Hey, how you doing?
And bringing a sense of class to the show.
And the keys to the car. All the
Keys to the car. That's me.
Mr. Brad Coates. Hey, Brad.
Hey, everybody. Good to be here.
Well, this is this
if you
month.
If you don't enjoy us, we enjoy ourselves. We just want you to know.
That's true.
It's all good.
If nothing else, we entertain ourselves.
we amuse ourselves for an hour at night.
Everybody, we have a bunch of DVC news we're going to get to. I think, Brad, are you going to start us off?
Yeah, there are those feel-good stories you hear every once in a while from Disney World, and so it's good to report those when you hear them, because sometimes we only hear about the price increases and the money grabs and the things we get all tense about. But there were several news outlets that were reporting that the Disney Vacation Club began following the DVC protocol for hurricanes. It's outlined actually in your in an actual hurricane policy concerning DVC as members. And I'm going to read directly as it reads from the DVC website. From June 1st to November 30th, in the event a hurricane warning is issued by the National Hurricane Center for the Orlando area, Vero Beach area, Hilton Head, Oahu, or the member's place of residence within 7 days before the scheduled arrival date, then the member may call member services at 800-800-9800 prior to check-in to cancel or to reschedule based upon availability their DVC resort reservation without any cancellation or modification penalty. And so, bottom line is, it's a wonderful thing. I've heard of people that have run into this in the past, and it's great, because usually if you cancel last minute, even if somebody got sick in the family or yada yada, your points go into a different category depending upon where you're at with your points. And so normally they're not you don't just get them back, or the whole thing isn't just canceled without a penalty. So I'm going to read it. It did say, of course, there's a couple of things they mentioned. We cannot guarantee the availability of similar accommodations for the new travel dates, which of course makes sense. They can't, if you got the oh, that's great, the concierge at Animal Kingdom, but you somehow lucked out and actually got it, they can't promise you the replacement one's going to be that. The policy does not apply to certain special events or dining experiences. So if those got canceled, they can't guarantee to replace it, because it may not even exist the next time you want to go. And the policy pertains to hurricane warnings only. Other weather advisory levels are handled on a case-by-case basis. So under the policy, the points are returned to the member's account without the normal rules being applied. So they just go back. And there was one listener, Joe Barlow, who mentioned, he said, I just listened to the hurricane show. I had Saratoga Springs reservations for the long weekend. My reservations were made with borrowed points. That's important. They were borrowed points from my next use year. When I called to cancel, they put my points back into the use year that I borrowed them from without any penalty or being put in a holding account. So bravo, DVC. You handled that the right way. So that's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. Yeah. Actually, when you started saying, you hear those feel-good stories. Well, that's not one of those. That's what I expected.
Oh yeah, not the hurricane, but the way they handled
absolutely.
the DVC members, because sometimes they, it feels like, well, this is the rules. We're sorry, and you're like, oh, but you don't know my situation. But
so then, if I'm understanding what you're saying correctly, if I am caught in this situation and I cancel my reservation, my points go right back in our bank just like they were prior to making the reservation, and I just have to use them by the end of my use year.
No, actually what he was saying was he borrowed them
from the future.
Well, yeah, from the future.
Oh.
They put them back in the future. So there was
put
no,
them back exactly the way they were.
Yeah, there was no penalty. It was like, okay, cool, now my 2020 points are back to 2020. I don't have to use them up.
It was basically he had never made the reservation at all.
Exactly.
That
cool.
is really great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if there were points that were going to expire, I'm sure that DVC would try to work with you to maybe make a reservation within the near future. If there's points you have to use, like you can't bank them anymore. I've heard stories where, like, just say you have to like use them by like January 31st. I've heard stories unofficially, like where they've asked nicely and they've got like supervisor approval, where you say, well, if you can use them by the end of March or whatever, like we'll make an exception. So it's not a guarantee, but it looks like they try to work with people. You even have points that are expiring. Now, I think if you're renting points from somebody, that's a whole different story, because it's the person who has the reservation is the member. So that's a completely different thing. But I'm assuming if you're using one of the reputable renting sites, you would go through them and try to work out some kind of refund or a deal or whatever. But I'm sure at least, DVC is trying to. They theoretically just say, nope, you're SOL, but they're doing the right thing by working with their members, and nobody wants to have an uproar. No, it's nobody's fault that there's a natural disaster, and they don't want people traveling to an area.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
If God forbid, we got lucky this time. The storm stayed off the coast. I mean, we were much more fortunate than other places, but they don't want people traveling to places, if they don't need to, So
that actually does bring up a really good point, though, because when you were talking about renting, because I noticed that it said if it's the owner's place of residence is expecting a hurricane. So if you live in one area and you've rented points from someone who lives in another area that's not affected by the hurricane, that definitely could come into play if you're being affected by the hurricane, but the person who owns the point.
If you're from California, you rent points from somebody who's actually no. If you're in South Carolina and can't travel, you rent points from somebody in California. That's not gonna, And
I think you're right. I think by and large Disney tries to work with everybody. I think they try to do what's right in most situations, but I think you have a harder argument in that case.
Well, and the reality is with DVC and with Disney, their approach to rented points has always been they have no responsibility for points that are owned by one person who's rented by another, and they basically tell you you're out of luck.
Yeah,
we'll
which is another reason to go with a reputable someone who's insured and brokered. And
I think I told you about the one where I rented my points out through one of those companies, and the person canceled, and they actually got my points, said we will get them rented back out. They did, and then paid me like $1.50 more per point just because for my trouble, which I had no trouble.
Wow.
Yeah,
he
you
rented
have
it right back
that's
out.
a great story.
Yeah.
We talk about renting a lot, but not from an owner's perspective. So that's kind of an interesting. I also have noticed a new trend on some of the rental sites. I know the one that I typically use now has a new page where if you're an owner and you're unsure of what you could make renting your points, you can go in and put how many points you have and where they're at, and you can get an idea of how much money you can make by renting those points out.
Yep.
So kind of a cool tool. We talk a lot about renters themselves, but not a lot about the owners who rent those points out. So it's a great service for the owners.
And if you're a DVC owner and you weren't aware of this, like sometimes nobody reads the fine print. A lot of times you just want to make our reservations. This is just a good reminder to everybody. We're still in hurricane season. I was in Hawaii last year during this time, and a hurricane came through Hawaii. So it doesn't matter if you're using DVC out in Disneyland or in Aulani. Obviously it's still hurricane season on the East Coast, but you never know. Hurricanes can hit anywhere where there is a Disney resort. So this is just a great reminder for everybody that you do have options.
Now let me mention in that, just a reminder, in what I just read, because it was the very first part. This particular policy is specific from June 1st through November 30th of this year. So
is that considered hurricane season?
Yes. Mm-hmm. It's actually a little farther because I think actual hurricane season is till like the 1st of November, if I remember correctly. But they're just kind of hedging their bets.
Is it as early as June? I didn't realize it. Wow.
I think they're hedging in front and in behind of what the normal hurricane season is, just to make sure they're covered. So.
And the last great thing is that this is determined. This DVC is putting it in the hands of the National Weather Service or the National Hurricane Center. So it's not like Disney's saying, well, no, they're going by what the federal government is saying, the National Hurricane Center is saying. So it's no ifs, ands, or buts, and they're going to err on the side of caution. They love to put those warnings out to give people a head start. So, like I know, for example, they put the warnings out all the way up to South Carolina for days in advance. So at least it gives you some time to prepare and to call DVC and make your changes appropriately.
Yep.
Excellent.
All right.
Excellent. Joe, you have another story for us.
Sure. DVCinfo.com has an article about purchasing minimum points so we always talk about new members and buying resale, maybe buying a small minimum contract to get those DVC benefits, to get the illustrious DVC member card now.
Yes.
So effective on September 17th of this year, 2019, new Disney Vacation Club owners must purchase at least 100 points directly from DVC in order to qualify for membership extras, perks, and discounts. DVC has begun updating portions of the member website to reflect the new policy. The updated language states in part, I'm going to read it in quote, to receive any membership extras, purchasers must present a valid DVC membership card along with a corresponding valid photo ID. Effective September 17th, 2019, to obtain a DVC membership card, members must accumulate a total of at least 100 vacation points purchased directly from Disney Vacation Development Incorporated. Those are the people down at Saratoga Springs.
That's right.
Among the membership extras covered by this expanded restriction or annual pass discounts, which actually is a good discount. Moonlight Magic events at Disney theme parks, access to the DVC member lounge at Epcot, dining discounts, shopping discounts, and much more. In 2016, DVC first introduced a 25-point minimum for membership extras, and you can see not even 3 years later, it's already jumped 75 points up to 100. In 2018 was raised to 75 points, so it's even jumped another 25 points. Owners who are currently eligible for membership extras under the terms enforced at the time of purchase will continue to qualify. And just to add this, I was just down for Jen and I's trip, and like any other DVC member, we're sitting there by the pool, and I really wanted to see the Riviera rooms. I know we've been kind of anti-Riviera, but it looks really good right now. It's almost done. And I was very intrigued, and we went and did the tour.
Oh,
we were at Saratoga. We went and did the tour, and just to fill in everybody, since we were current DVC members, I think they have usually if you want to see the Riviera rooms, 2 to 3 o'clock in the afternoons, you can just go there and they'll show you the rooms. It's like a members only time. We went and saw the rooms, absolutely beautiful. And it's a very contemporary version of like a Grand Floridian room. So take classy with a modern twist to it. Just seeing it in person looked amazing. We sat down with a guide. We've done it before with our friends Brittany and Justin, and they went over. I won't say the name of our guide, but he was going over all the terms and the points and this and that. And he did talk about the 100-point minimum for new members. But he says, you guys are members. So what I want to add to this story is that if you are a current DVC member and you have a valid membership card, you get all you're entitled to all the benefits. They will sell you a smaller contract of 50 points. And what they will do is they will go as low as 50 points, and they will do that even without a hard credit pull. So if you buy 50 points either at Riviera or at a resale, like they were even trying to sell me Saratoga Springs. I mean, they were offering me Boardwalk. They asked, "Where do you want?" And I said, Boardwalk, and they actually called and they found Boardwalk points for me.
Oh wow!
So they will sell you if they have it. They will sell it to you, but you can go as low as 50 points if you do have a valid DVC membership card and you're in their system. So just something so you don't have a remember you don't have to buy 100. You can go as low as 50, and it's without a hard credit pull. So if you're going to either get funding from your own bank or you have the cash for it, they won't even do a pull. They'll just or if you you can finance to them and they won't even do a hard pull as well. But so if you're worried about your credit, they won't do a pull there, which is kind of important for some people. But so they can go as low as 50. But it's fun how they are pushing. They say, my guide told me how bad the resale market is. I should stay far, far, far away from resale. Then he offered me Saratoga Springs points for 168 a point.
Oh.
But I could use those new points. I could use those new points at Riviera.
Okay, so can I just jump in and ask you a question?
Sure, go ahead.
What would be the purpose of buying because clearly you're not staying at the Riviera for very long on 50 points, right?
So, yes.
So I think I know the answer to this, but I just want to confirm that and I'm sure some of our listeners would be going, why would you do that, Joe?
Okay. So, yeah, I think it was 166 a point. So I currently have 180 points that are like the grandfathered full functioning points at Saratoga Springs. If I were to buy another 50 points from resale, I'm able to use my legacy 180 points at Riviera. I cannot use my new 50-point contract I just bought at resale at Riviera. Does that make sense? If I bought it from DVC directly and paid the 166 a point, then I could use those 50 points. I could use my 180 plus 50 at Riviera. So
could
any other contracts afterwards.
11 months or 9 months?
The new contract?
Yeah.
Well, if I bought it from DVC, it would only be 7 months.
Okay. If
I bought it resale, it would be never. So that's the difference. So I went to the guy and I was like, well, I understand I can use it at Riviera, but I can buy a 50-point contract for like 110 a point. I was like, buy a larger contract for 99. I didn't say like I was on a podcast. Also, I kind of knew what I was talking about, like with the pricings for that, because I looked before I went in there, and he was just like, oh, it's like I'm just saying, I'm like, but I'll think about it. So, but we did. He was very nice, but he definitely pushed the hard sell for like, well, October 1st, the prices are going up. And actually, I think the prices for Riviera weren't too bad. The Riviera was like 188 a point. Like Polynesian was selling for 222 a point from them directly. Wow. Even though it's sold out. So yeah.
Gosh.
I'm curious, do you feel like because you were saying, like, do you feel like their salesmanship has become a harder sell than it used to be?
Sounds like it.
Yes. Yeah. It was definitely, he called me back. He wasn't like as bad he wasn't as nearly as bad as like if you were to go like to like a Hilton Times.
Yeah.
But he was like, he wasn't pushy, but he was just like, well, I'm telling you, the points are going to go up, and you're an owner, this, and like, so, like it was definitely a harder sell. He was very nice. He gave me all the numbers and stuff, but it was very tempting. I mean, me and Jen were thinking about it. I was like, oh, I can't believe I'm actually thinking about Riviera, but my wife would want Polynesian if we were to buy more. I just couldn't see spending them like, oh, I'm starting all over again. But all in all, I didn't want to get into a whole rant about my experience with the DVC guide. But however, I just thought that was kind of important to add. That doesn't really apply to everybody. If you were DVC, you can go below 15. You can go below 100. You can go for 50. So, awesome. But yeah, and you still get ice cream afterwards, which is nice.
Nice.
No more. But if you remember, no more fast passes. They did not offer us fast passes at all. It was just ice cream. That was it. So and oil. Yeah, so I think they only give that to the if they still do that, they only give it to maybe people who are not DVC members. But the ice cream was very good though. It was like 10:30 in the morning we had it. So.
Ice cream anytime.
Rebecca, when you were asking about the 7-month and 11-month, were you basically asking? It sounded to me like you were asking Joe, why buy 50 from Riviera? Why were they trying to?
Yeah, why would you specifically buy the 50 points from the Riviera?
And just for you and for any of the listeners out of there, well, she was mainly asking because you first said they would sell you 50 as low as 50 points from.
Oh yeah. That's what triggered my question originally. Although I appreciate the question you answered, that was my original question.
50 points.
What is the benefit of buying? Yeah, what is the benefit of that?
But there'd be 11th window, and I don't know how many nights of it. I think it's like 14, whatever the slow season was like 14 or 16 points, something like that. It wouldn't give you many nights.
But the reality is that now Riviera in the past, and it's going to be this way, I pretty much guarantee forever, 11 and 7 is only about the points in that resort. It never converts your points from another one. So if he bought those 50, he'd have 50 points available for 11. He would not have any of the other resort points available at 11. That's just a luck thing.
If I bought 50 from Riviera, I could use some other places.
No, we're saying you couldn't, at an 11-month window, you couldn't use your Saratoga at Riviera because you have 50 points there.
Yeah. That's what I was asking.
Getting my own
there it is. There it is.
My own answer confused here. My goodness. Listen, everybody, I apologize. It's been a long day. So
It's okay, dude.
And let's face it, it's not easy. That's why we're here to help you.
Because trust me, that question comes up a lot. Everybody's always asking.
I'll tell you what,
if I
though.
add this to this, do I get my 11 months with those?
I'm gonna say this right now.
I've been told buy where you want to stay.
And
That is the one.
I'm going to say this right
advice
now. I got to admit this. I'm a little bit of a hypocrite because we were on here like, I'll never buy in Riviera. That place looks damn good right now. And like I'm watching the Skyliner videos. I'm just like, oh man, it looks good. It's like, and I'm watching like people record it from like Epcot International Gateway to Riviera. I'm like, damn, that's quick. I'm like, oh man, that's tempting. So like,
Listen,
I mean,
there's a reason we love Disney, and it's because they don't do things shoddily.
I'll tell you, it's you know,
to me,
we've been saying that for a while. Like, oh, I don't know. It was tempting, man. It's tempting.
I fully intend to try to stay at Riviera, but until Riviera opens and it proves to be impossible to get at the 7-month window, I'm good. Because I can still use my points to book at Riviera.
Yes, that makes sense. Okay.
At 7 months. I can't do it at 11.
Yes.
So,
but that's okay.
yeah, but I guess we'll find out. But yeah, everything I've seen, and I'm glad you told me that, Joe, because everything I've seen has made me really look at Riviera going, I don't know, that looks like a pretty sharp resort to me. So,
I tell you. And my view of the gondolas is already. I mean, I watched about 3 hours of people's videos staying in the gondolas. That's a whole separate story for another show.
Wow.
But like, besides the temperature still looks a little warm in there. I was like, damn, those things look good. I'm like, oh, I hate it. I'm like, damn, I'm wrong about a lot of things. I'm like, and I'm going this weekend, and I said this off the air. I'm excited to ride those actually.
Yes.
Me too.
So, anyway, I don't want to. It's a DVC show, so Tim, I don't want to get us off the rails anymore.
Riviera. Tim got an email about the Riviera, and he's going to tell us about it.
I did.
I got your segue, Tim.
I love you people can be trained. I love that so much.
You are very teachable.
No, speaking of Riviera, as I have my little note here, I've received like 3 mailings in the past 6 weeks or so. A few different emails. I thought I'd bring up the email I got today. It was titled "The Art of Inspiration." Dun dun dun. But
animation.
Right, it was just an email stating that if you go to artofriviera.com. There's a little sweepstakes there for a 5-night Riviera Resort vacation, or you can win one of like 360 other weekly prizes. I think most of those are gift cards. But in order to submit your entry for this, you have to watch a 17-minute long video about the art and the design of the Riviera Resort. And it was actually very interesting. And I might have done other things again while the 17 minutes was rolling, but
Agreed.
It sounded interesting while I was, taking care of a couple things around the house.
Took a shower, shave.
Yeah,
Okay, so is it about the inspiration behind it, or do you actually get to see the rooms?
They showed some of the rooms, some of the design of the rooms, how they're doing some of the So it's very interesting.
It showed the different types of rooms, and but a good chunk of that 17 minutes was. What's that? What's that?
I get it, Brad. You did your homework, and I didn't.
I did, yeah. But I'm gonna confess. I'm like Tim. 17 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a good
like
part
17 of it. Emails.
And then once they started yakking about, this was drawn from this, and this is why we did this artistic thing, and I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I gotta go do something else.
I'm just curious. Do you think you're getting bombarded by emails, or do you think this is a slow sell? Anybody have any opinions on what we're attributing the?
I've gotten a lot more from Riviera than I've ever had for any other one before that's opened up.
I feel I actually got the same email, so I feel I've gotten a number of them specifically for the Riviera. So I'm just curious if expectations are not, or the reality is not meeting expectations on that.
Well, as for DVCnews.com has actually an article about that, and it says here for Riviera that I guess the sale started March 27th of this year, and it said it sold 187,336 DVC points by May 30th, a period of 65 days from when the sale started. So they said Polynesian, the first 65 days, they sold 126,382 points, and Copper Creek was 64,999. Wow. So I guess it's actually doing
okay then.
I guess it's actually doing well. I mean,
I don't know what their expectations were, but
it says here that it's only 2.8% of the 2.8% of the total of the resort's total points have been sold. So
wow,
still a long way to go, but That's according to DVCnews.com. So yeah, like I guess for the same period of time, Grand Floridian sold 11.1% of its points, and that was 2.5 million points. No, sorry, 280,991. So Grand Floridian definitely outsold all of these resorts like combined. Copper Creek and Riviera, so that's how popular Grand Floridian was. But yeah, interesting article on DVCnews.com. So it is selling, just maybe not as fast as they want to, but I don't think it's bad. But I think maybe it's not as fast as they want to. So.
I'd be curious how many of those are first-time DVC members. This is their first resort.
Yeah, it's possible.
Good question.
I think the Skyliner is actually definitely helping. I mean, I think that's definitely helping the sale of it, because I know our guy definitely pushed it when we were in the meeting. So
listen, transportation is important.
You know what they should have did, honestly? I know it costs money. They're not going to do it, but if you could have some sort of like unload station inside the hotel, like that would have been bad.
Oh yeah,
like a monorail.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the Contemporary, that would have been cool.
That would have been cool.
Yeah.
It's too late for that, so I'm unless to do it down the line. But so I just thought I'd bring it up since DVCnews.com has that has the points comparison. So
cool,
fantastic.
Well, I have a listener email to share. I was asked last week, as you know, free dining, I'm going to put that in quotes, free dining is once again available for this year. And so a listener asked, if you are renting points through DVC, are you eligible for free dining? And I think this is an often, Brad mentioned when we were chatting about tonight's podcast that this is a frequently asked question. And the answer is pretty simple, but the explanation is a little bit more interesting. So the short answer is no. If you are staying on points, whether you own them or whether you rent them, you are not eligible for free dining. The bigger question is, and I will defer to Brad and Joe, is that a bad thing?
Well, the whole point of free dining is it's a discount for people that are paying full rack rate to stay in a hotel room.
Not only now is it free, you're paying rack rate. You're also required to, for this particular thing, you have to have a 4-day park hopper ticket.
And so when you're DVC, their mindset is simple. We're already giving you a discount room rate. Mm-hmm. That's we've sold you into this. So it's a completely separate company. It has nothing to do with any of those kind of discount rates that you can get on a room. You can't apply any of those discounts or programs or plans to DVC. The only thing that crosses over is that, is the dining. They do offer dining to DVC. You can do the dining packages.
Just pay per night.
No, you pay for your whole time you're staying, as I remember correctly.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes. No, you're correct. I just meant you pay for each night that you're paying.
Yeah, exactly. Same way you do with a room if you did bought direct room. But outside of that, any of the other discounts, it's 20% off at this, this resort. Well, that's nice, but you don't get to apply that to DVC ever. No discounts. So.
Yeah, I will say that I've rented points 3 times now during free dining season, and I ran the numbers for at the time, my family of 4, and we would never have come out ahead by paying rack rate and having to do the ticket purchase that they required than doing DVC points and paying out of pocket.
Yep.
And also too, it's like even like other DVC members, like who even own, for example, for me, like I have tables in Wonderland. I already have annual passes. And even if you rent points, like a lot of people, like, Rebecca, you have an annual pass, right? So like, why would you even buy more tickets on top of that? It's like, I already have tickets to the park,
Exactly. The only time that has worked out well for me was I was going by myself. I stayed at a value resort, and I converted the park hopper pass that I had to buy. I had it applied to my next annual pass, which was up for renewal.
Oh, okay.
That was and I was alone. That was the only time that, and even then I didn't come out ahead. I kind of broke even. But the sort of what I didn't pay attention to, what I closed my eyes to, was that at the time I was staying at a value resort versus Old Key West or Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Oh yeah, so
it's not apples to apples. Even when you break even, it's not apples to apples, I don't think.
And I don't know about you guys, but I've noticed, I just did a whole week there, and I don't know if like we're changing or whatever, but like Jen and I, we've noticed we're eating less. Like there was a couple of nights that like we were snacking by the pool at lunch, and maybe because we went to the Halloween party for the first time, we were eating like chocolate during the day too. But like I'm like, let's cancel dinner. I'm not hungry. So like
I'm very much like that during the summer.
To be committed to like all that food, I'm just like it's like I would have felt really guilty about like just if I did buy the dining plan, like I have to go eat. Like I definitely see the way some people feel about that when they like, oh, I just feel like I had to eat, because if I was locked into a dining plan for this trip, I would definitely have felt guilty, because there was 2 nights that we canceled dinner, and one was at Citrico's and one was at Turf Club. I love Turf Club. So
you love Turf Club.
I just wasn't feeling it. I wasn't hungry. I'm like, babe, I'm not like hungry. Let's just get a snack later. Let's just split something. So, it's, I don't know, people change too, and we're not eating as much. So it said run the numbers, see if it works for you, and see if you also don't want to feel locked into eating all the time as well. So sometimes
that's actually a really fair point.
Yeah, even if it is quote unquote free dining, you're still forced to, it might not be worth it. You might be forced to eat.
And I don't know about you, but my experience at any sit down restaurants is it is at least a 2-hour commitment.
It depends on where you're at and what time you're going. Like, I mean, it's at least a good 50 minutes to an hour. At least. It depends.
You get in and out of it 50 minutes.
Well, my experience is if you're eating
at a Turf Club.
No. If you're into theme parks, it's going to be like, if you're at La Celia, you're looking at like over an hour at least. If you're like off site, maybe it's going to be a little quicker. I mean,
you mean like downtown Disney?
No, like Disney Springs or like at a resort. Like, for example, like we ate at El Molino the other night at the Swan. We were down 45 minutes.
Okay.
There's only 2 of us. I mean, so I think, and also the larger the party you have, like, I ate dinner last Sunday at Trattoria Al Forno. There was 2, 4, 6, 10 of us with 4 kids, and it was a good hour and 45-minute, 2-hour ordeal. Mm-hmm. It just took forever. So
maybe
I guess it depends on the size of your party too.
Yeah.
Listen, if you want to eat fast, you eat with Jen and I, right? We'll get you in and out real quick, all right?
You know what? You eat so fast, you eat other people's food at the bar. Joe, I know you.
There's video to prove that, all right? So.
Awesome.
Okay, Tim, do you have anything else to add, Tim?
No, but now I'm hungry. I will say we've had some quick meals at 50's Prime Time. They tend to get us in and out of there. It's pretty quick sometimes.
Yeah, that's fair. I think I'm thinking about the time that I wait, the time that I eat, the time. Yeah, that's fair. Also, I tend to drink more than anybody else on this podcast.
What?
It's true.
It slows down the dining process.
Listen, I just prefer to drink rather than shop. So there's that. But speaking of shopping, I know there's some new merchandise for sale.
Yes. So I'm just going to add this in here.
Segue queen tonight.
Yes.
You are.
Fantastic. So just real quick, everybody, I just said this before, the Skyliner, we're recording a little behind the scenes here on the 24th of September. The Skyliner opens this week. I think it's the 29th. It opens right this weekend. Yes. So hopefully Miss Rebecca Toon, myself, and Mrs. Quattrochi will hopefully ride it together this weekend, because we are all going down for Illuminations last show on Monday. So if you're around, please hit Rebecca or myself up, and we can meet up at Epcot. But anyway, of course, in DVC, in Disney fashion, there's all kinds of new merchandise that's going to be released with the opening of the Skyliner system. Everything, they're having a special annual pass merchandise. They're having a special DVC Magic Band, which actually looks pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's like Disney. Why have you made a monorail band? Why have you made resort bands? Like, make resort specific bands, please. I would buy a new one every single time. But the Skyliner band looks pretty cool. That's the only thing DVC specific they have, but they have a lot of annual pass merch, and they have regular merch. And then one of the big things they're offering is the Mickey Funko Pop that's like him, like in the Skyliner bucket. So it looks pretty cool. That's gonna be tough to get, but they're only going to be available at Skyliner Resorts. So it's going to be your Caribbean Beach, your Art of Animation, and your Disney's Pop Century Resort. Riviera is not online, as we all know. So head over to one of those gift shops, and you'll be able to purchase those items. But they were advertising them on a lot of people's blogs today. The signs were out for all the cast previews. But they have definitely a DVC Magic Band, which looks pretty cool. So
I just saw the Funko Pop.
It's pretty cool.
I am super in love.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, I have to admit it.
Yeah, that is one I would buy.
Disney, I'm telling you right now, you did a really cool job with this design on this Magic Band. Resort specific Magic Bands. Like, I would go nuts for like a Poly one, a Contemporary one, a Saratoga one. That would be awesome.
Now I got to Google Magic Band so I can see the Skyliner Magic Band.
They have Skyliner socks.
I'm actually gonna get a pair of those since I wear suits every day now. I might get a pair of Skyliner socks. So.
Oh my God, the Magic Band's so cute.
It's pretty good. It's a pretty good looking band. I will admit it. So.
I don't think I've ever, usually when I look at DVC merchandise, I'll just be honest with you. I like owning DVC. I've never liked their merch. I don't want an advertisement for DVC. To me, I like that band. It's just because it's really, it's Mickey, it's Disney, and happens to be DVC as well.
I want to buy that Funko Pop and put a hook on it and put it on my Christmas tree.
There you go. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Except I wonder how heavy it's going to be.
It doesn't matter.
Pull the top of the tree over. Here's Grinch's tree.
You should see some of the ornaments I have from Disney on my tree. They must weigh a good 3 pounds. I have a very sturdy artificial tree for the Disney tree. Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
That's all I got.
I want to put a Skyliner set under my Christmas tree.
That's all I got.
And I feel like Joe has a couple of rants.
I just want I just want everybody to meet us in Epcot this weekend. But I'm waiting for Tim to close the show so I could say that.
I know. I keep looking at this merchandise going, they have a tumbler. The lanyard looks like a Skyliner around your neck. I'm sure the socks don't come in size 15, so that kind of
all of these things.
Excellent. Does anybody have anything else they want to bring up besides this? That Magic Band looks really cool too.
I'd say a special goodbye to Illuminations.
Oh, I'm so sad.
We're gonna miss you.
Illuminations is significant in my life, and although I am so looking forward to what's coming next, it is the end of an era for me with Epcot right now.
Yes.
So,
I think the filler show is going to be a little disappointing, but boy, what they were showing so far at D23 and what's coming.
Absolutely. And you know what? Here's the thing.
Makes you feel a little bit better, a little easier to say goodbye.
A little easier to say goodbye. And honestly, we would not be such big Disney fans if they did not deliver every time they made a change. Yep. And I trust Disney. I respect Disney. I don't always agree with Disney, but I think that they have some amazing things on the horizon. And as much as, it's great to make memories. That's what I keep telling my kids, because my kids are very upset about Illuminations ending. And I'm like, you know what? It's always great to make memories. And these are the memories that you have and get to pass along. And it's a wonderful thing. So, but special goodbye to Illuminations, because it has a special place in my heart.
Well, since you're giving a goodbye, I want to say hello and give a shout out to Mr. Jeremy Hunt. He's a looper out there. I finally ran into Jeremy in our hometowns in Florida. At the Walgreens, believe it or not.
That's awesome. He sent me a message about that. That was cool.
I was literally running in with Jen, and he's like, Joe? I'm like, Jeremy? I'm like, what's up, man? He's like, Jeremy. Like, hey, what's up, man? So shout out to Jeremy. It's good to find.
You're doing well on Facebook. That's awesome.
Good. I know. I'm not on Facebook anymore, but it was good to see him. So what's up, man? I know he's listening to the show, and hopefully I know he will possibly be down there as well for the Illuminations final show. Jeremy, if you're down there, hit us up. And also, anybody else out there in Liberation, again, myself, Rebecca, I know the Mickey dudes will be down there as well. Hit us up while we're this weekend down in Walt Disney World for Illuminations. We'll be down at Epcot.
Hey, Joe, how can they find us if they want to hit us up?
Tim, do you want me to segue into that? You could find me on Twitter at Joe Quite. You can also find me over at the Mickey Dudes podcast and at Walt Disney World this weekend. I'll be hanging around the Walt Disney World Swan or Dolphin this week, is where I'm staying. So, but yeah, you can find us around there. Rebecca, where can people find you?
You can find me at thesegwayqueen.com. No, you can find me on Twitter at Tequila Becca. You can find me at La Cava at Epcot. And this weekend, you can find me at La Cava at Epcot, but also watching Illuminations. And hit me up on Facebook or Instagram at the same name. And always at LooperNation.com.
And Brad, where can people find you?
Find me at Papa Mouse One on Twitter, hanging out in the Resort Loop Live area, and then of course at a soon to come Resort Loop reunion coming to the Walgreens nearest you. So and keep your eyes open.
And our producer, owner, and director, Tim Scott, where can people find you?
You can find me at ResortLoop.com, Facebook.
Doesn't get a word.
That's fine. That's perfect. Everybody's done all that. What do I even say? This has been Facebook, Twitter, the website, ResortLoop.com. Thank you for listening.
I'm off guard there.
You did. to the gateway to the magic.
Literally just railroaded.
Well, he went to sleep.
That was like
we
there was
wouldn't
like
let the guy talk.
680 episodes that we just derailed him right there.
We literally just railroaded the show from there. Bob, it's fine. We're taking very good care of it.
Bob, we got this.
Help.
And if
Help.
this is the final DVC Roundtable show,
No,
I
don't
say
spread that
thank
rumor.
you for all of your support.
Don't spread that rumor. Somebody's got to say it. All right, see you, everybody. Oh my goodness.
See you. See you, everybody.
See you, everybody.
Vacation memories will stay with you and your family for a lifetime. The Resort Loop Travel Group was created with this in mind. Our fee-free services will relieve you of the stress and confusion of finding and booking the best vacation at the best price. After booking, we will continue to monitor for ways to save you even more on your vacation. We will check for any upcoming packages and discounts to save you as many vacation dollars as possible. Resort Loop Travel Group, gateway to your magical vacation memories. Get a quote, or for more information, visit ResortLoopTravelGroup.com. Oh my goodness.
See you. See you, everybody.
See you, everybody.
Ugh.
Poor Tim.
I
Holy cow.
didn't think you were done, Tim, with your closing.
I don't even know. That was awesome. I'm here. I'm actually laughing silently because it's hilarious.
What closing? You had nothing left to close.
I know.
That was a fun segment. I think people will enjoy that.
Yeah, I think so too. It'll be fine. It was awesome.